Hey everybody, my name is Anthony. Welcome back to another Devlog update for Project 5. Alright, so the first thing you'll see here is I added variation to the slime's jump time. So the one in the front here jumps faster than the one in the back, and as you can see, this one's reaching to me faster. Alright, that's the first update. The second update is the poison rings. I finally added abilities to them. So let's put these to the front here. Alright, so the first one is a poison grenade, which does damage over time. And the second one is a same thing as a poison grenade, however you spread poison in all directions, which is pretty cool. So I killed the slimes, however if we go this way I can show the poison damage in a... Okay, I'll just reset it like that. Alright, let's pick this ring up. So once he jumps in here, you see he's taking tick damage. It's kind of hard to see because he is green and the poison is green. However, he is taking tick damage. And every time they take damage, they flash green. So once I get to a guard or the skeleton, you'll see it in effect. Let's actually move these to the forefront like that. 1, 2. Pretty neat. Alright, so we have more updates to go over. Right here. So one thing I have to say here is you'll see that the Spewer doesn't take damage from poison, and I did that on purpose because I think since the Spewer shoots poison, it doesn't make sense for him to be damaged by poison. So instead we have to use some other abilities or hit him by the normal attack. Let's hit him by fire attack there. Alright, let's continue. So in here, you can kind of see the variation in the slime's hop better. I'm going to throw that poison there. Throw one there. Alright, and then we're going to bring the skeleton down so you can see the poison damage. So I'm going to wait till he looks at me. There you go. You saw how he flashed green? That's because he took damage from the poison. Now, how I made the poison, I want it to be a good pick for enemies that stay still. So obviously here the guard, the skeleton doesn't really stay still for long. He chases you, so it's not really good for the poison or use poison rings against him. However, for the slime, if it's a slime that's slower, poison does work, not as good as a stationary target. However, I do have plans to make more enemies that are stationary so that there's more benefit in using the poison rings. So let's go ahead up here. So this orange ring is the technology rings. I haven't coded their abilities in yet. However, when I do, which is next week, we can finally use them in one of the fingers. Okay. Now, another update you guys have probably seen, however, I haven't really spoke about it, is the tumble effect. So if I were to go ahead here and swing, once I press jump, you'll see there's a new animation. It's a tumbling effect. Pretty cool. Now, if I use the aerial poison attack, you'll see he does it as well. And what's cool about the tumbling effect is that it makes your hitbox smaller, so that when you use this poison effect, and let's say there's an enemy that does projectiles or shoots projectiles and is trying to hit you, your hitbox gets smaller so you can evade better. Okay, let's continue. Now here's where the majority of the updates are. It's still in the dance room. Copyright disclaimer about the music. However, I do need to show you guys this. So once you walk in, we now have a bar setting. We have a disco ball and we have some thematic lights. It is only half of the room. However, I do plan on making a second floor of this room that you can only access from the left side over here. So once you leave this room, you can access it from a stairway and come up here. Up here, I plan on having something else instead of a dance room, or instead of dancing, it's probably just going to be just more thematic stuff or ambient things, like more to the bar maybe I'll have up there somebody's house and they're living there and you could talk to that NPC. I was also thinking of having a store. So in the store, you'll spend coins. Let's say every time you kill an enemy, you get 1 to 3 coins. In the store, you'll spend coins to get rings. So you don't have to worry about RNG. Alright, and the last update is coming when I step into the spotlight here.
I wanna know your name, wanna know everything about you, girl. Wanna know your name. I wanna know your name, wanna know everything about you, girl. Wanna know your name. I wanna know your name, wanna know everything about you, girl. Wanna know your name. I wanna know your name, wanna know everything about you, girl. Wanna know your name. I wanna know your name, wanna know everything about you, girl. Wanna know your name. I wanna know your name, wanna know, baby, wanna know, I wanna know your name. I wanna know your name, wanna know everything about you, girl. Wanna know your name. I wanna know your name, wanna know everything about you, girl. Wanna know your name. I wanna know your name, wanna know everything about you, girl. Wanna know your name. I wanna know your name, wanna know everything about you, girl. Wanna know your name. I wanna know your name, wanna know everything about you, girl. Wanna know your name. I wanna know your name, wanna know everything about you, girl. Wanna know your name. I wanna know your name, wanna know everything about you, girl. Wanna know your name. I wanna know your name, wanna know everything about you, girl. Wanna know your name. I wanna know your name, wanna know everything about you, girl. Wanna know your name. I wanna know your name, wanna know everything about you, girl. Wanna know your name. I wanna know your name, wanna know everything about you, girl. Wanna know your name. I wanna know your name, wanna know everything about you, girl. Wanna know your name. I wanna know your name, wanna I wanna know your name. I wanna know.
What's your name?
That's amazing.
And there you have it. So in this room, the dance room, we now have backup dancers, which are cats. I actually know these cats in real life, so it pays homage to my friend's cats. However, I do plan on adding more animals to it. So the bartender is going to be my dog Rocco, and I'm also going to have cats that are sitting on these chairs on the left and right side. And I plan on implementing more animals as we go. So the store owner is going to be, or the shop person is going to be an animal as well. I'm not sure if it'll be a dog, cat, fish, whatever may be the case. However, I do want to pay homage to my friends and family by adding their pets into the game. Alright, that's it for this devlog update. If you have any questions, anything you think I should add to the game, please let me know. Also, I want some feedback, especially with the attacks that I've shown. The poison attacks I think are pretty cool. However, do you think they're practical in a game like this? Also, the fire abilities I want to revisit because I feel like they're too basic. The fire shotgun does a lot of damage up close. However, I do kind of want to make it better, more animations to it so you can actually tell you're using fire. The fire double jump is pretty cool. However, I think it'll be cooler if it shoots a projectile downward instead of just being a static animation. Alright, see you guys next devlog.